Welcome back, true believers and spectacular Spidey fans, to another Spider-Man related video, not Spider-Man PS4 related video, because of how this is a really interesting topic that a lot of you guys have kind of wanted me to talk about, or at least a good majority of you have wanted me to discuss about. And I was kind of thinking about doing this video beforehand, before I made like the remaining videos I have in my list of videos to do before Spider-Man PS4 comes out. But I was unsure about it, but you guys were really vocal about it, and it seems like you guys really wanted me to discuss about it, which is really awesome, seeing you guys being so vocal in the comment section of all the videos that I put out, and just seeing you guys participate in this channel, because again, this is our channel that we are forming together, and without all your amazing support, it would not be the amazing success that it is today, or just getting the notifications and the notice that it is slowly starting to get, because while 900 subs may not seem like a lot, it is a lot to me personally, and for that I just have to say thank you, everyone. You guys are the greatest. And before I begin, I have this entire video to thank to Javik12, because he wanted me to discuss about this in a video, and he was really vocal about it, so thank you, man, for making me do this video. You are awesome. As well as the Wilson331, who is another awesome true believer in our community that we are really thankful to have. He is a totally consecutive and totally consistent commenter in the comment section of all the videos that this channel puts out. So thank you so much for the Wilson for being awesome. And also I have to give a shout out to one of my classmates in my public address class, Diana. Thank you so much, Diana. You mean the world to me, and this is for you. So, to begin, this, if you haven't read the title already in this video, it's going to be a really interesting topic for me to discuss, because I've actually been wanting to discuss about it for a while, given the ideas I have running around my head and seeing how it could work out if it was true. But since it was announced last year that the rights between Activision and Marvel were separated, so that means that the rights to Marvel characters and Marvel games, mainly specifically Spider-Man games, would not be owned by Activision anymore, because of how Sony is now taking the forefront with that, and they're the ones who get to make exclusive Spider-Man games. And again, Marvel, as a company, we do not know if the remaining amount of their games will be exclusive to PlayStation 4, because of how Spider-Man is the only character that is kind of owned by Sony. That's what the whole rights happen with Marvel and Sony, where Spider-Man gets to be featured in Civil War, and that's why the Amazing Spider-Man series ended. But then that also means that the movie tie-in games ended, because I did a video, if you remember, a while back, where I confirmed, there was an article that confirmed that there would be no more movie tie-in games for Marvel. After Spider-Man PS4, there was going to be no more movie tie-in games relating to Spider-Man or any other character in regards to Marvel. However, I kind of almost wanted to see a movie tie-in game of Spider-Man Homecoming, which means, again, the reason why we're not getting a Spider-Man Homecoming movie tie-in game is because we're getting Spider-Man PS4, which is way better and way more amazing than anything we could ever ask for in the history of the universe, because of how amazing that game is going to be, made by Insomniac Games, being an original Spider-Man game, totally next-gen, free roam. It's just going to be an amazing experience. However, I still kind of want to see what a Spider-Man Homecoming movie tie-in game would look like. And again, we have had a vast range of movie tie-in games. We've had the Raimi trilogy of movie tie-in games, being, of course, Spider-Man 2 being the best of, people consider the best Spider-Man game of all time, but Spider-Man 2 being the best game out of that Raimi trilogy, which is definitely true. But for me, my favorite Spider-Man game of all time was Web of Shadows. But again, out of the movie games, Spider-Man 2 is the best. And then we had the Mark Webb series, the two Amazing Spider-Man games. Amazing Spider-Man 1, which you're seeing right now, I thought was really good for a movie tie-in game, considering the amount of time Beenox had to work on this game. They had 2 years to work on it, and they were also trying to figure out what the story was for the Amazing Spider-Man movie, which then they created into an epilogue. This entire game is an epilogue to the movie, which I thought was a really smart idea, since it kind of is like an original Spider-Man game in its own way, but just with a little bit of connections to the movie. And then the Amazing Spider-Man 2 totally went the opposite direction, where it was a full-on movie tie-in game with tons of weird connections to the movie, and some of it didn't really make any sense. And of course, the lack of Gwen Stacy in that game being a pivotal moment of her dying in the second movie, and then her not being even featured at all in the game, was kind of strange. But we've had a vast majority of Spider-Man movie tie-in games. Some are better than others. Some are just really bad. Like, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 does have its likabilities, but it has a lot of faults as well. But with everything that we know so far about Spider-Man Homecoming, it would have been actually really cool to see it be turned into a movie tie-in game, because we have Vulture as the main villain, with Shocker and Tinkerer as the side villains, and a young, high school-age Spider-Man. Which, if you think about it, what is the one aspect of a Spider-Man game that we have never seen ever be played out ever in any game related to Spider-Man, which I personally have actually wanted to see my entire life, is the opportunity to both have aspects to play as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and also have the ability to walk around Peter's high school or college or wherever he is, but in this case, it would be his high school, since he, in Spider-Man Homecoming, is a high school student of 15 years of age. It would be awesome to just walk around his school as a teenager, as Peter Parker, and getting to interact with his various friends and people that are in his world. And then, since in this case it would be in the MCU, it would be a lot cool to see if there were a lot of references to other heroes. Maybe Tony Stark, since he's going to be in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. Maybe some hints to Captain America, the Avengers, stuff like that. Maybe even, I don't know if they could do that, but Guardians of the Galaxy in some way or another. But with Spider-Man Homecoming, you would see it as a next-gen game, because in the case of movie tie-in games, it would not be exclusive to PS4. The reason why Spider-Man PS4 is exclusive to the PlayStation 4 is because it's an original game that is published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. And while Sony does own the rights to Spider-Man, they still would have had to put it on the Xbox and PC and stuff like that, just like they did with The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But then they were still going out over their, organizations and plans and stuff like that in regards to what they were trying to do for the entirety of the game, because of how there were those kind of instances where there were delays with the game, or there were some, fights between Xbox and Sony because of how they were trying to fight for the rights, and then Xbox had to get the game like a few months later and stuff like that. So there was a lot of weird things going on between Sony and Microsoft in regards to Spider-Man. But for the movie tie-in games, I think it would be much more consistently clear if it was just supposed to be on one singular console. But for a movie tie-in game, the aspects would be really cool. I think the different aspects would be, you could be a high school student as Peter Parker, and then just go save New York City as Spider-Man. And then, since it's young, teenage Peter Parker, you can get a young voice actor, hopefully Tom Holland, since they did that with the Raimi trilogy of games. They got Tobey Maguire and all the other actors from the movies to do the voices of the game characters, which was awesome, which is one of my favorite parts of that entire trilogy of games. And then, it was just a really fun experiences of gameplay and story. Even though they were movie tie-in games, I still really like the Spider-Man 3, even though I like Spider-Man 2 more than Spider-Man 3. But I thought the story with the Kingpin and stuff like that, especially his boss battle, was really cool. The final fight with Venom was okay. But, there was a lot of good things in that game. Believe it or not, the swinging, again, it actually stuck to buildings. Whether you like that game or not, you have to admit, that game had the web stick to buildings. But with Spider-Man Homecoming, it would just be really cool to see what type of variations and stuff they could do for that game. Whether that's going to class, talking to your friends, your student classmates, going on dates as Peter, going back to your Aunt May's house just to do homework or something, and then just go out, swing around New York City as Spider-Man, then just do some missions as Peter and Spider-Man. Which, by the way, what they're doing with the Telltale games would kind of be how I would see that in Spider-Man Homecoming if it was to be made to a movie tie-in game, where you could choose to do things as Peter and as Spider-Man. Or how I would hopefully want it to be, if they were even to do it, is take the game Bully, made by Rockstar, and then just implement it with Spider-Man. Just, you have a school campus to walk around as Peter, and then you can choose to go out and swing in the main city of New York City as Spider-Man. I think that would be a really cool idea if they have even decided to make that game into a movie tie-in game, or that movie into a movie tie-in game. I just think it'd be a really cool idea if they did that, but it's all in the past now since we are getting Spider-Man PS4, and we just have to look on the amazing future that we have in regards to Marvel games, as well as this new Spider-Man series made by Insomniac Games. It's going to be a total awesome ride, and we just have to thank the Marvel awesome team there, and Sony even, that we are not getting any more movie tie-in games. We're going to get full-on original Marvel awesome experiences. This was just my thoughts on what Spider-Man Homecoming could actually be if it was a movie tie-in game. This is all just speculation in the past. Again, thank you to Javik, the Wilson 331, and Diana for making me do this video, or giving me the inspiration to do this video, I should say. You are all incredible, everybody. Thank you so much. Stay spectacular, Spidey fans. Peace out.